That's why it's a joy to get up in the morning. That's why it's a joy. I wake up in the morning with a blessed, with just a blessed on my heart, man. Even I may not feel like it sometimes, be a little drunk, but I get up with gratitude in my heart. Thank you for this day. Thank you for another opportunity.
Welcome to the Greatness Ignited podcast, where we have conversations about the greatness of others so that you can recognize the greatness in you. My name is Barry Overton, and I have been studying greatness for the last 7 years, and it is taking my career to new heights. And now me and a few of the successful people that I have had the honor of interviewing are coming together to ignite your greatness and light the fire within.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Greatness Ignited podcast, where we're having conversations with others to talk about the greatness in others, that you actually have that greatness in you, and to help you to realize those things about yourself. I got to tell you, today's podcast is an exciting one because we're going to talk about transformation. We're going to talk about really finding that greatness inside and pulling it out to the surface. And I had to go find someone that I believe explains this better than anyone, and not just explains it, but lives it. He did this very thing, and many people around the world had the opportunity to witness the transformation in action. Let me just tell you a little bit about him. He's a 16-year veteran of the NFL. He's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Actually also spent some time after he retired from football. He was with the Eagles football's operation, the Philadelphia Eagles, where he worked in player development, again, helping others to find that ability to be able to transform. And he's also a father and a husband, a motivator, a coach, a mentor, and a devout man of God. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Mr. Brian Dawkins. How you doing there, sir?
Absolutely blessed by the best, and happy to be on here, brother. Can't wait to get this thing going. Tell me.
Absolutely. Before I jumped on here myself, I was looking at some of the videos of your speeches just before the game, just to get myself hyped and ready for this. So I'm just as excited as you are. We got some great things that we're going to talk about here. Big part of it is that transformation and finding that greatness within us that's already there, and just identifying it and pulling it to the surface. But I know that since you retired from the NFL, you continue to transform, and you're one of the big things that I think that's always important for mentors and coaches is that they never stop being students. And right now, I know that you're a student in the area of mindset, and you're looking to be able to master mindset. If you want to just kind of share with some of the things you're doing right now, just from a mindset standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely, Barry. And one of the blessed things that I recognize is that I had success. All right, that's number one. That I have had a measure of success in my life. And one of the things that I did is, okay, so what did I really do to have that success? I'm a prayerful man of God, and I know that the Lord has blessed me in so many ways for me to be where I am. But there's things that I had to do in my life, discipline-wise, to help in that endeavor. To not help the Lord now. He's on his own wavelength, so to speak. But I'm talking about me, my mindset, me mentally. What did I have to do? What are the things that I placed into my brain to function at a way that's different from other people? And so that's this journey of truly understanding that, of understanding my mindset, understand how the brain works, and some of the things that I was doing to myself, for myself, to help me bring out that part of me when I needed it. So whatever it is, if I'm off the field, what part of me is needed for this? Boom, I'm going to give everything to that. Same thing on the field. So this is the journey that I'm on, because I call myself a forever student of life. I'm always learning. I'm constantly learning, constantly trying to gain understanding, because my philosophy when it comes to this is simple, that there is no such thing as maintaining. There is no such thing as maintaining. And the way that I say that is that if you take a car and you take it uphill, As you put that car in neutral, what happens?
So
You begin to roll back downhill. That's what happens to us in life when we think we're maintaining. There's no maintaining. You need to be growing in every aspect, in different aspects of your life in different times. It's always growing. Late great Jim Johnson used to always tell us, you're never the same the next year as a defense. You're never the same. You're either going to be better or worse. There is no the same. So that means I need to be increasing. So going back to that mindset, what do I need to do to plug into my mind to allow me, the whole part of me, to be going in the direction that I want it to go, not the world's telling me I need to be going? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, perfect sense. And I love that you're sharing that. And you said you started it with saying I've had success. And I think that a lot of times when we hit certain levels of success, whether it's a pro football career or whether it's an executive in business, whatever the case may be, we can hit certain levels of success. And like you said, we want to maintain. But there's so much more out there for us. And I love to hear that that's what you're striving for, is again, just building on the mindset. And I know that you're not just doing it for yourself. It's important for you to be able to do it for you. And you have to do it for you in order to be able to teach others next. But that's a big passion of yours as well, is to be able to bring this message to the masses and really get others to see the same thing in themselves.
Absolutely. So as we talk in our class, my C-type goal when it comes to this is to bless as many people as possible with the knowledge and understanding that I have gained over my life, for those who have an ear to listen and a heart to understand. I won't put a number on it, but I'm thinking millions of people are going to be blessed by the things that come out of my mouth. Excuse me. It's not for everybody. My voice is not supposed to reach everybody. I understand that. That's not my calling. My calling is to reach those I'm supposed to reach with the message that comes from authentically me. The things that I've gone through will resonate with some people. My depression, my going through the suicidal episodes in my life, thoughts in my life at that time. Mm-hmm. Some of that stuff will resonate with some people. It will not resonate with others. But for those I'm going to resonate with, I want to not just give you, yes, I've had success. You've had a measure of success. But what will I do and use going forward to just continue to let me just stay conquering, just stay winning? It's not always huge wins as far as, Hall of Fame, but small incremental wins in my life. How can I make that a habitual thing for me to recognize, first of all, to plan, to visualize, to plan, and then to come into it and then celebrate it and then teach others or allow others to glean into how I've done things, how I see things, and maybe it resonates and maybe it helps them see their lives differently so that they can achieve something greater than they thought they would be able to, because they're envisioning things on another level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, and one of the areas that I think, again, that success comes from is the ability to transform. And, when I started studying you before this podcast, I was hearing, people that were very close to you, teammates, coaches, they were describing you as mild-mannered, meek, quiet. And I'm thinking, as I watched you on the field and saw your career, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And but that's transformation. And so I started looking at all these different videos, and you could see from the time that you showed up in the locker room to the time that first kickoff happened, there was a transformation there. And it was so interesting to be able to see you talk to the football and say, holla at your boy. And again, realizing that you were becoming one with this whole different entity that's already inside of you, but you were pulling it to the surface. And it reminded me of a scripture, Romans 12:2, that said, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, Absolutely. That you may prove that good, acceptable, perfect will of God. And you could see when you were speaking in tongues, you could just see all of these pieces happening. So I just want you to share, with you a little bit about Weapon X and how major of a part that transformation played in your career?
Wow. Weapon X, before he was Weapon X, it was just a part of me that people would call mean or angry. My wife would say I was a angry person on game day, and teammates was like, "You're mean." So it wasn't always Weapon X. It was just that part of me that for I guess a lack of a better term, that switch I flipped when it came time to go. Like, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to become in order for me to do what I'm about to do. So that's what I did. That's what I did. As I began to understand it, as I got older and got into the league, you understand that Brian Dawkins never truly played a down in the National Football League. No, because Brian Dawkins, in my mindset, off the field, laid back, introvert, he would not have success on the field. He would not. Weapon X, going to have a lot of success because there's things that in that mindset I'm willing to do and I'm able to do that I would not, or I would second guess myself as myself. Does that make sense? As Brian Dawkins, I would second guess myself.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I could really actually go 100 and do it the way that is going to be asked for me to do to hit this dude as Brian Dawkins. But as Weapon X, let me get it. Let me get that. And so understanding that, and also understanding that energy is transferable. So I always tell people, and one of the things that I was blessed to tell some of the players there when I was trying to help them recognize what they had in themselves, right, is you have to be someone to invite other people to your party. Right? I can't just be partying by myself. I got to do things and invite other people to that party with me. So that means that I want my energy to be felt in those moments. Yeah. Now, I want to look my teammate in the eye to see if there's a twitter, is there's a little some shudder, or let me see your hands. Are your hands shaking? Let me get that shake up out your hands. Man, we got some work to be done, right? So that's how I would do some of these things, intentional, because once again, I know that the confidence I'm riding in confidence. Confidence is all exuding through me. I want my teammates to feel that same confidence in themselves that I feel in me, and the confidence I have in me about them. So I have confidence in you. I want you to feel the confidence I have that you're going to do what you need to do to help us win this game. That's the other thing. And so all of that is in Weapon X. So it's not just the dude on the field pulverizing folk. I love that. But it's also the intentionality behind some of the things that I did to invite my teammates to get up out of their feelings or get up out of their fears, to get away. If I need to go into dump a 300-pound dude on his back to help my teammates, find courage, then I'm going to do that. Not every time. Sometimes I get ran over. I mean, it's going to happen. I'm not the biggest of dudes. But I didn't fear that. So if they're looking at me saying that, man, this dude is 100 and I played the most of my career at most of my career, I played it right around 200 pounds. So 200. Yeah. So if I'm playing at 200 pounds and I'm doing this thing to 300-pound dudes, man, wow. So I can ask my teammates. That's why I can ask them, or sometimes demand from them, I need everything that you got, because they know I'm giving them everything that I have as Weapon X. Everything, every ounce of me is going to be poured out. Like I would say, it's going to be poured out on this field in multitudes and in plenty. That's how it's going to be poured out. So I need that. I need that today. I need everything that you got. So that's the demand that I can demand respectfully of my teammates, because I know what I'm giving as Weapon X. I know what I'm pouring into as Weapon X. But I can't just walk into the locker room, bust down the door, and start yelling. No, there's a crescendo effect to it, right? You got to allow it to build, and it start building early in the week. So prayer and meditation is key in that. So before the storm, so to speak, is that calm. So it's a little bit opposite. So that's calm. Like, you got to be in a calm state of mind to allow that version of you to fully come to existence when the time comes. So I can't be thinking about a whole bunch of other stuff is what I'm saying. Yeah. I can't be caught up in the past mistakes, relationship problems, family issues. I can't have all of those things in my heart along with this other part of me that needs to go and give everything. Because in that moment, I'm only giving you what I have left. I'm not giving you everything that I have. So these are some of the things that I just talked about, family, whether it be family issues or things from my past. I have to pray about it and give that away so that I can handle the things that I can control. And that's my attitude, my reaction, my effort, and my actions. That's my area of control. And when I recognize that, I begin to operate from a different plane of thought, man. And when you change your plane of thought, right now where you stand, you automatically and instantaneously change the future steps you're about to take. Yeah. That thought you just changed right now, you're going to take a different step. You're not going to take the step that you were about to take in that negative mindset. You won't take that step. You'll take a different step. But if you do take the same step, you'll be seeing the step from a different perspective. So once again, you're not taking the exact same step. There's hope in that step. There's optimism in that step. There's pride in that step. There's excitement in that step because I'm anticipating good things happen, not bad things, right? So I'm trying to stay on the question.
No, this is great.
Going to some other areas, brother, because this is where it's taking me. So I'll let you ask the next question before I go too much further.
Well, yeah, and you definitely kind of lead me into that because, again, obviously this process that you went through as Brian Dawkins and this transformation on the field to Weapon X and the bear crawling onto the field and you know the movement and the gyrations and all of that as you come out of that tunnel was a part of the process. Now, and I know that Weapon X is still in you and it still comes out in a way. And so for our listeners that are saying, well, you know, I'm in sales and I'm an executive in sales. I can't bear crawl into a boardroom meeting. But, you know, my thing is, honestly, if you transform into Weapon X and you lay out the best meeting that you ever had, you may have other people bear crawling in the meeting next week. Because again, I get it. I understand that transformation. But for the listener that is, you know, they're in business or they're, you know, a nonprofit or whatever the case may be, how do you share with them how to tap into their Weapon X and that inner greatness inside of them?
So one of the things about growing up, and this is one of the things that I'll be teaching in my beast session. I have a beast session, a leadership session that I'll be teaching after it's finished, which is not quite done. We're kind of finishing things up, but this is one of the things that I'll be teaching in it, is to invite all of you into every place that you go. Invite. You won't necessarily use all of you, because obviously not everything can be used in every situation, but you invite every aspect of you to the table. And then when you get to that table, you recognize what it is you need to then apply, what part of you that need to apply. But before then, this is what I'll tell you. Before I walked into a meeting, when I was an executive, I had already in my mind's eye said what type of energy I'm about to bring to this room. Before I crossed the threshold for the door, I've already told myself what energy I was going to have when I walked in there. Period. So I'm not disrespectfully going in yelling. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about though is being a thermostat, not a thermometer. When it's plausible. So respectfully doing it. So thermostat, what? Change the temperature in the room, right? If it needs to be turned, if it needs to be changed. If things are going great, then cool. Just flow with. I was flow with it. I'll be like water and just flow with it, right? Yeah. But if it's not, I need to do things to change the temperature. If things are getting too heated, I'll raise my hand. I'm gonna be that peacemaker. Right? If things are too laxed, I'm going to poke somebody or do something to somebody, make somebody laugh or something to get the energy back up, to raise the energy back up. So being aware, having spatial awareness as you walk into that room is extremely important. Reading the room, some people would call it. Having that instinct to be able to do that and knowing that you can do that. Giving yourself permission, once again, before I enter this doorway, this is what I'm going to bring to the table. But then this is how I'll be able to then change that if anything needs to be changed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
So in doing that, I take myself back to understanding that within Weapon X, Wolverine, because he's a cartoon character, one of the most powerful things the Lord has given us that many of us don't understand and don't really give him props for this is our imaginations. So that's the place that we envision the future from.
Yeah,
is our imaginations. So faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. So though that unseen space where we envision things, where we don't see it naturally with these eyes, but we envision it here in our mental space, that's a powerful thing. And it was at its most potent when we were young, when we were kids. So Wolverine for me is someone that helps me continue to imagine big. Because I'm not quieting the child in me. See, some people grow up, we get older, we get in your 30s and your 40s, and some people 50 and say, oh yeah, we can't, I gotta be serious all the time. So what you're doing to that kid in you, you're putting that kid in a solitary confinement. You're only letting that kid come out and you feed him a little cheese and crackers through the slit in the door every once in a while because you allow yourself to laugh every once in a while. No. I want my kid to be fully functional in every aspect when it's applicable, right? So if I make a mistake, even right now, and I'm talking, I want to be able to laugh at that. But if I'm too serious, oh, stupid. Why would you do that? Now you're getting negative self-talking to your brain, which then shuts down the left prefrontal cortex. Some people call it your Einstein brain. Some people call it your CEO. And then you begin to think from your right prefrontal cortex, which is some people call it Frankenstein brain, the what if part of your brain. And now you're not imaginative anymore. Yeah. You're just surviving. You just whatever comes. Listen. I for one, I'm not living my life like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the kid in me. I want him to be healthy. I want him to laugh, make me laugh at silly stuff from time to time. Yeah. I want the kid in me to allow me to continue to imagine huge things and not be so fearful to just imagine things. Because you're going to have the natural pullback of you imagining things big. You're going to have that natural pull, but I don't want my adult, too serious person that I don't want to imagine anything. I'm not laughing at. I'm not living my life that way. And I believe that if you are living your life that way, you are missing out on a lot of quality moments that the kid in you will recognize. The adult won't recognize, but the kid in you, they'll recognize when that thing is funny. Yeah. And you'll be able to express that. And then from a psychological standpoint, neurological and psychological standpoint, when you do laugh and have that belly laugh, allow yourself to give that belly laugh, your brain produces the feel-good chemicals to your body. Like it actually helps your stress response. Like it quiets your stress down in your life when you laugh, a big belly laugh. It actually releases your natural painkillers into your system. I don't know if people knew that or not. Just by a belly laugh, a strong belly laugh. Matter of fact, I've heard. I was reading this book. I can't remember the name of it, but the doctor was like, doctors need to prescribe laughter as medicine because is the best medicine because of what your brain produces to your body by you laughing. So if I quiet the child in me or the kid in me, and I don't allow that kid in me to be speaking, then how much of life am I not enjoying, allowing myself to truly enjoy? How much health? Because belly laughter also, if you do it often enough, it actually raises your immune system, strengthens your immune system.
Yeah.
Right? So all of that comes from me understanding I like Wolverine. I'm going to read comic books. I'm going to watch cartoons more than I watch depressing stuff. Even to this day, specific cartoons I sit in there and watch during the day. I give myself at least 30 minutes to an hour sometimes to watch cartoons, right? So that's exercising the child in me. Yeah. And so what I would then ask of you is, if the kid version of you today, the kid version, what would he say about where you are? What about the teenage version? What would they say about where you are?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, that's
so
powerful.
These are some of the things will be in that presentation that I'll give, because I really want to help people understand how significant that part of you is to you being the best you can be.
Yeah. You
feel me?
Oh yeah. You know, you are so much on point in regards to my beliefs in regards to that. I tell people when I was a kid, my dream, I wanted to be Superman. And for probably 4 or 5 years, that was the dream for me. And then, it transitioned into playing in the NFL, and then all of a sudden, right around high school, again, people start feeding doubt to you, and you start accepting it. You start taking it in. And I transitioned into law enforcement. But at 17 years old, I made decisions that, okay, I'm going to go into law enforcement. And I made a 26-year career out of it. But one thing that I learned along the way, 2 things. Number one, that I messed out. I believed in that big enough because it felt like it was attainable. But being Superman and playing in the NFL, at a certain point became unattainable in my mind, because I can say I allowed outside thoughts, but I really allowed the inside thoughts affect me on that. And it was later in life that I realized, when I started to look back on life and the things that I achieved, and I realized that, man, when I put my mind to something, I was able to accomplish it. And then I started thinking, what if I would have said, no, I'm gonna play in the NFL? And when you start looking at athletes, and Kobe Bryant is a perfect example. At 12 years old, he knew he was going to be in the NFL, or excuse me, the NBA, and he knew that he was going to be one of the best players to ever play the game. And he never allowed any thoughts to ever disrupt that or become a distraction to his beliefs. And I'm sure, in your life, there was, processes that you went through as a kid, all the way into college and into the NFL, where you experienced that.
Absolutely. I did not have that type of vision that he had, that I was going to be one of the best. It was, for me, it was simply growing up in Jacksonville, Florida. I was not, and if you don't know my story, it wasn't supposed to be me. I said this in my Hall of Fame. It wasn't supposed to be me. It was supposed to be so many other people in my neighborhood, even in my family. Because my brother was a good athlete himself. He went to Louisville, played. Louisville still holds some of the all-purpose yards as a running back there in Louisville. So with the Cardinals, and he played. He went on to play it was 6 years altogether. But it was more in the NFL Europe back in the day. So that's where he played the majority of his time. And so it was supposed to be other people, not supposed to be me. I was not the biggest of guys. And so I always took that as a knock on me, right? But not in a bad way, because I took it and used it as fuel. So you can look at problems, or you can look at what people say about you 2 ways. You can listen to it, agree with it, thereby giving yourself negative self-talk, or you can use it the opposite way. And the opposite way is I've always used that as fuel for my fire.
Yeah.
Like you telling me I can't do something, it wasn't supposed to be me. I got you. All right. I'm gonna show you. Now that anytime that you do things in swing the pendulum too far in one way or the other, that's not a good thing. So if you go one way, that's the negative self-talk is going to talk you out. If you go the other way too far, now it's just become angry. So now you're just angry at everybody.
Yeah.
So just instead of just having a chip on your shoulder, you just angry. That's where my life kind of went for a little while. I had that part of me that would get overly angry about stuff that people are saying, right? So I'm going to use it as motivation, but again, I'm angry. So now I have a short temper too, right? So you can allow it to go too far and don't allow it to go too far, I guess is the point. But because of that, I just wanted to get out and show what I can do, and that I was going to beat the person next to me or in front of me. That it was going to be me that was going to have success, not necessarily NFL success, but to have success. That I was going to be the best, if not the best, one of the best on the field at any given time, and any sport that I played. That was my mindset, right? With my brother being that he went to college, it showed me, okay, a college is possible for someone in my family, right? Same thing with the NFL. Oh, wow. NFL is possible. So now the possibility begins to widen and say, okay, it's possible for me. So you do begin to dream about, I remember writing my autograph down in like high school, junior high, and saying someday, people gonna pay me for my autograph. Watch what I tell you. I mean, did I truly believe that? I don't know. But I did. I was to write down my autographs.
Yeah.
And now people, they pay me for my doggone autograph, which still blows my mind.
Yeah.
And so there is a sense of envisioning what's possible for you and believing it, even if others do not. That will help you get and gain a life that is far beyond what you see in front of you right now. So envisioning that place, even if you have to borrow, and who is that says this all the time? I think Les may say it quite a bit. Is that even if you have to borrow somebody else's belief in you, before you can believe in you. So if I have to borrow somebody else's belief in me for a little while until I truly see, okay, now I see what they're saying. So now I don't have to borrow their belief anymore. I own the belief. It's mine. Let me run with it, right? And so there's different variations of this thing, but the possibilities are endless for those who believe they are. Let me repeat that. The possibilities are endless for those who believe they are. But if you don't believe there are, you're going to limit yourself to what others think of you. And that's not always a good thing. Matter of fact, as the world is concerned, that's a horrible thing. If you begin to believe that you are what you think others see in you, is a bad place to live. So I'm not going to live there. I'm not going to live in that place. I'm not going to allow people to define me, and I'm not going to allow my past mistakes to define me. My past mistakes and things are what I did, is not who I am. Yeah.
Okay. And I think a lot of times when people see your career, for instance, when you emerge, whether they started following you at Clemson, whether they started following you when you were in Philadelphia, what they see is the success, and they see greatness. And, I have my book, Ignite Your Greatness. I start the book by saying the struggle is real, but so is your greatness. And you too have had struggle. And what I love about it, though, is your example, many people's example, is we use that struggle. Struggle is pain. Struggle is discomfort. Struggle is taking us, out of a place that we're used to and putting us sometimes in a darker place. But it's through the struggle that faith is built, and we talk about how muscle is built through the resistance of the weights, but your muscle in faith is built through going through the struggle and still, persisting through the struggle and coming out on the other side someone stronger and someone better. And I mean, that's the story that a lot of people don't know about you in regards to that struggle.
Absolutely. And that's because I've had success, a great measure of success, not just a small. I've had great measure of success. I played in NFL. I played NFL for 16 years in a dominant fashion, so dominant that I was blessed to be a Hall of Famer. So that's what people see. So I can understand that when you only see that, you don't understand some of the other things. And that's why, for me, I believe that I've been so open and transparent about the things that I have gone through to get there. The things that I went through to get to that point, a different mindset that I had to develop about myself in order for me to be what I became. If I had a closed mindset, that means that I was limited of how far I can go. It limits everything, having a closed mindset. And so from a faith perspective, how can I word this? So from a faith perspective, you can have faith if you don't just use it for the Lord. So when I say faith, people think about your relationship with God. Take faith, the word by itself, not attaching it to our Heavenly Father. Faith by itself can be attached or led down two different paths. You can have faith in your positive things that are going on in your life, or you can have faith in fear. You can have faith in that state. So when you say faith is a muscle that you can build, it is. Either way, though. So I can build my faith up, that I can persevere, that I can overcome, that I can gain in the midst of circumstances, that my circumstances are happening through me, not to me. I can have faith, but I can also have faith in the fact that everything's always happening to me. I'm always coming last. I never have success. People always overlooking me. I can have faith in that version. And when that happens, and this is where the brain comes in, and this is why I'm studying on how it affects the whole body. When I'm negative, how does it affect the whole body? I know how it affects me spiritually, but mentally, how does it affect me? So mentally, when that thought of negativity comes in and I buy into it and I constantly think on it, I build a neural pathway that I'm going to respond to the stimulus in my life from the right prefrontal cortex of my brain. That's the part of the brain that's doubts a lot, or operates in fear, and it doesn't express excitement. It doesn't really express creativity. It just wants to survive, to get you safe, to keep you safe. And so when I operate from that part of my brain, it does not allow me to thrive in life. It just allows me to survive. I don't want to just survive on this side of heaven. I want to thrive. And so by me then understanding that, I can then do things to change that thought process, to go to another place, different breathing techniques I know how to do to help me, different mental exercises I know how to do to get me out of that. Understanding the state that I am will even help that. My body positional state. If I'm humped over, slumped over like this, and my head is down, I'm not going to be able to dream big things from this position. But if I straighten my back out, shake it out a little bit, put a smile on my face, even though I don't feel like smiling, let me tell you this. When you smile on your face, your brain does not know if you're happy or not. It just knows that there's a smile. So it will release endorphins and the like into your system. I don't know if people understand that or not. Just a smile. Just keeping it there. I know you can't just do it real quick and just stop. No, you got to keep it there. 20 seconds. But when you're doing that, think on a positive in your life. Attitude of gratitude, right? Think on that positive. Think on that time in your life that you had that great measure of success, whatever it is. If from a kid all the way to now, when was that time you had a great measure of success? Think on that. Imagine that. Close your eyes and think into that. Because your brain does not know whether or not you're actually there or not, it will release the chemicals, the feel-good chemicals into your system, just like you're there. It's the same way you go to a movie. And a good producer will be able to get you to jump because of thriller, like a thrill, to be to get you sad because of drama, to make you laugh because of comedy. So that's how the director is driving your emotions, your response, and your brain does not know the difference. Yeah. So use that to your advantage. Use it to, and that's what I've learned. I can shape the way that my brain does things and see things so that I can experience the things that I want to experience in this life. Not what others are saying about me, not what I think others are saying about me, not the failures in my life. And then, so now explain to people that I've gone through these things, I've grown through these things, and I'm a better person because I recognize what I gained from them. Yeah. I didn't just go through them, I grew through them. Now I have, now I have information and wisdom. Information and knowledge, right? So a lot of people will say information and knowledge is power. Like information is power. Knowledge is power. Not really. It is, but it's potential power. It's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge, but they don't always do the right things, right? So it's when you then apply that thing, and that's wisdom in action. Now that's power. Yeah. But that came from where? What I went through and what I grew through. And so when I then explain this to some people, they'll grasp it, they'll understand it. And I'll then give them, if you go to briandawkins.com and you take the blueprint challenge that's on there, this is what I developed to help me come through the depression that I was in. And if you take that, there's some things specifically that will help you take control of your life. And then from there, you take out what you need to take out, add what you need to add from other people who've done some things similar. And then you have a course of action that you take every day that keeps you winning. And when I tell you this, man, that's why it's a joy to get up in the morning. That's why it's a joy. I wake up in the morning with a blessed, with just a blessed on my heart, man. Even I may not feel like it sometimes, be a little drunk, but I get up with gratitude in my heart. Thank you for this day. Thank you for another opportunity. I get up with gratitude, and because of that list of the things that I do, and once again, you go to briandawkins.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. It gets me in the mindset to dominate the day, and the discipline that we're doing in the TIR by doing specific things daily. Yeah, which I'm also rewriting or paving new neural pathways into my brain, so that I can become what is called unconscious competent about reacting to stimulus in my life. So I'm unconsciously doing the right thing when stress comes, because I'm training myself of how to do it by the discipline in my life. I'm trying not to go too deep. But these are the things that are flowing through me now to help people understand you can take control over the things you control in your life. Yeah, it does not have to just stay in a place of frustration. Not saying frustration is not going to come. You don't have to stay in a place of hurt. Not saying hurt is not going to come. They are going to come. The storms come on the just and the just. And the unjust alike. That's what the word of God tells us. So the storms are going to come, but there's things that you can do in the midst of the storm to grow in the storm. That storm could be just watering the seed that's inside of you. Yeah. And I said last night that on our call that one of the tough parts about the seed that you plant in a positive space, that it has to grow in the dark first. So sometimes you don't see the fruit from it. Yeah. You don't see the fruit. It has to grow in the dark. And it grows down first before it grows up. Yeah. So it goes down, a root, think about it. Your root system goes down first, and then the stem begins to break through in the darkness to the surface to bear the fruit. So having patience in that is extremely important. that we have to. And so in that patient place, that's why you have to have people with you along the ride. Don't do this by yourself. You can't, first of all, don't try to do it by yourself. Have some people that you can talk to. Have people that you can call that can hold you accountable, yes, but also to put an arm around you, just to hug you, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to show you some, even if it's virtual love, to have somebody show you some virtual love, man. That's extremely important. We are based. A lot of the things that we do is based off of community, right? Having the right people around you to help you along your journey in life, to help your journey in life to be a better one.
Yeah, you dropped so many different nuggets on that one. The seed is one that I'm actually creating right now, doing a motivational video where I talk about the Chinese bamboo tree. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it takes 5 years of constant watering every day. You can't miss a day of watering it, but 5 years before it breaks the surface. And then once it breaks the surface, in about 6 weeks, it grows to 90 feet. And, a lot of people think about when you're starting a new business, or when you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to do better things in your relationship. We live in this microwave society. We want things now, and that patience that you have to have. And the key that you mentioned is the roots. The part that we don't see is the key, because it grounds the tree. You can't have a tree standing 90 feet tall without having deep roots.
That's right.
So yeah, that I love that message. You took me back when you were talking in regards to the neural pathways and all the different things from a mental standpoint. I look back in my career as a police officer, and I always tell people that one of the best things that I decided to do in the middle of my career was to start to see a police psychologist, because I didn't like the way that I was starting to think about things. And what I realized is that job, I always tell people don't call the police when things are good in their life. They usually call when it's the worst. When it's so bad they can't handle it, they have to call the police. So as a police officer, that's what you deal with. You deal with negative situations constantly. And eventually that starts to kind of eat away at you and become a part of you. And that's what I've seen in so many police officers. Why so many police officers die of heart-related issues and stress, that comes on. One of the professions with the highest divorce rate, just because of not coping with those things. And it was, like I said, in the middle of my career, that all of a sudden I just didn't like the person that I was becoming. And fortunately, I was open to seeing a psychologist and being open to the thoughts of making changes to what was happening with me. And it was those changes that put me in a position that I left that job 10 years early. And it was probably the scariest thing that I've ever done, walking away from a 6-figure income to this for myself, where income wasn't guaranteed. But I can tell you, 7 years later, it was the best decision that I made, not just financially, but spiritually, physically, for my health, emotionally, So I everything that you talked about, I've gone through that transformation. And when I talk to police officers now, next week I have an event that I do where I'm at all the district stations doing an appreciation lunch for police officers. And during that time, I'm having conversations with these guys, especially now. I mean, these guys are going through some rough times just in law enforcement. We're going through rough times as society, and being able to get along and communicate. But I've seen a lot of these guys they're just down. I've had 4 friends that have committed suicide in the last 5 years in that profession. And so for me, it is an opportunity to be around them and let them know there is something greater in you, and being able to tap into those passions that they, just like you said, they put them to the side. They got so serious because, again, this job in law enforcement is a serious job. And I remember, early on in my career, people would walk by and say, "Smile," and I'd be like, "I am," but I'm not. But I thought I was. But people would see that. So, I mean, you're speaking a powerful message just in the area that I used to work in law enforcement. But I know there's so many other people that are this message is resonating with them right now. So I definitely appreciate you for sharing that.
No, it's my pleasure. And again, when we as men are free, we free ourselves up to be transparent with some things.
Mhm.
We help ourselves, yes, but others. And that's the key to it all, to help others. That same, you can call it defensive mechanism. You can call it that way, that police officers develop.
Mhm.
Think about it from a neighborhood perspective where I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, because there's a lot of, you have to handle your business in Jacksonville. Like where I grew up, you have to fight. Like not all the time, but you're going to have to fight. So there's a certain way that you need to carry yourself in your mind's eye in order for me to survive, right? To have a, not survive as far as you're going to get, killed, but I'm talking about the people won't be messing with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a certain aura that I have to then walk with.
Yeah.
A certain demeanor that I need to have when I'm not. This mechanism that a lot of us have used in a good way, growing up in a good way in different circumstances, but not knowing how and when to turn that off is the issue. Because if you stay in that mode, you're in the right brain, right prefrontal cortex, and that area will release stress into your system. So you're in the flight, and freeze part of the brain. And if that part of the brain stays activated, it's not good for the body.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And so understanding, when the more you understand, the better you have that you are capable of doing. It's not a guarantee just because I know more, I'll do better. No, the more you understand these things, though, the better you'll be able to handle situations going forward. That I don't need to be in this defensive posture where I am right now. Like I have my father-in-law, for the longest time, he was police officer as well. He was bodyguard. He was security, had a security company and all those things. And when I was a player, he was, basically retired. But when we would go places, he would click into like security mode. Like he would put his hand in front of me before we walk. I'm like, man, would you relax? Like it ain't that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not on detail right now, bro. We out with the family, man. Like, so it took him time and me kind of messing with him about that for him to understand what it is he was doing, because he didn't see that. He was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. I just, when they get into this, when we come out in family mode, and, I know people, you're professional. And I was like, I understand that. And I appreciate that, but we're family right now. Like let's enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. So
the point is we have to know that, yes, there is a time and place for these things, but knowing that you can, first of all, turn them off is very important. Some people don't understand they can turn them off, that it's not detrimental to them if they actually allow themselves to be silly with their families or be silly with people around them. You see what I'm saying? Not having every situation you go into as a stressful place that could potentially, you lose your life because if you don't maintain this sense of control of your environment, like that's a very stressful place to live in. And once again, living in a state of stress, actually, a neuroscientist will tell you that it actually kills brain cells when you live in a perpetual state of stress.
Yeah, that's good to know. And I was laughing because it probably took me 2 years to sit in a restaurant with my back to the door. Because that's just something as a police officer, you always have your eye on who's coming in,
Well,
who's coming out.
Well, let me raise my hand. I can't do that either. So I feel you on that. I still can laugh and have a good time, but I gotta have my face front.
Yeah.
I can't have my back to the door. I gotta be facing that daggone door.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being here, man. I'm telling you, this one is one I'm going to go back and just take notes on it because there's great information that I received here. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this and you're looking for a coach, you're looking for a mentor, you're looking to transform the inner you, and you're looking for mindset development and taking your thoughts and becoming, taking your vision and making it a reality, BrianDawkins.com is where you want to go and connect with this gentleman. He's proven that he's done it from a high level in regards to his own life. He's been able to impact so many other people from a sports perspective, but he is millions. He said it himself. He is looking to impact millions, and you could be one of them. So, brother, again, thank you so much. If there's anything that you want to leave us with, feel free to share that.
No, I mean, one of my people that are the best that I took from was that individual across your right shoulder, Martin Luther King. And I love that quote. I have that quote on my prayer board. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. You can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep moving forward. Now, don't just leave it there, though. See, moving forward in itself, or moving forward with the same mindset that got you into the mess that you find yourself in, is not the ticket. You have to develop another mindset to get you out of what you got yourself into or where you find yourself. That's a whole different ball game. So that next step that you take it from a different mindset. The Bible talks about us, you said it, renewing your mind. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. But faith comes by hearing. What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? You have to begin to look at those things in your life. Really pay attention to what you're listening to, what you're spending the majority of your time doing. Are you spending the majority of your time on gadgets? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with gadgets. Gadgets are great. Information-based. It's a lot of information that can be gathered by this. But they are also designed by software companies and the like, AI systems, to just have you scrolling. Not necessarily giving you good content to help you grow. Nope, just to get your endorphins going, so that they can keep you going down the rabbit hole of swipe after swipe after swipe. Now, your time is limited. I'm blessed to be 47 right now, right? Blessed to be 47. And I look at that, it says that the average life for a man is what, 73? Right? So I'm over halfway there, right? So my point is, the time that you have, and it's no guarantee that I'll make it to that 74. That's the other thing. I see so many of my friends that I know, people that are my age, that are passing. So even if you're younger, when I was younger though, I had individuals in my neighborhood. I lost 3 of my friends to the street. One of them when I was in 11th grade, another one when I was a sophomore in college, and the other one actually when I was a little bit younger. He was drinking and driving. So, and then there's another one that got shot up and was paralyzed from the waist down. And so my point is, you never know what tomorrow brings. So envision the tomorrow you want to live in, so that you can begin to do the things today to make that tomorrow become your reality. Do it today. Change your mindset today. Change what you're looking at today. Meditate on the right things today. Get a mentor into your life today, so that you can achieve some growth in your mindset, which will cause your actions to be of such substance that people will want to follow what you're doing, that you become a mentor to others. because they see how you're doing things. See, a leadership is not just you leading somebody. The question is, okay, so where are you leading me as a leader? Where are you leading me? So my last thing, I'll leave you with this. I believe that each one of us has at least one person that are following our lead. My question is, what are you teaching them? What are they learning from you? How are they learning to attack life or surrender to life? What are they learning from you? Are they learning how to respond after a mistake is made? How to gather yourself, how to be a person of substance that you can give to other people? Like, what are they learning from you? Whether that be your kids, whether that be whomever, it doesn't matter. What are they learning from you? And if you can honestly tell yourself that the things that I'm showing them aren't good things, let's change that. Let's change that mindset, change those thoughts, change those things you're looking at and listening to, so that you can then allow this world to be a better place because you were on it. All right. Good.
All right. Hey, man, that was a powerful last message there. I mean, it truly, it's saying if you are not focused on, doing the greater good for you, at least think about that person and a lot of times those are your kids. Those are people that are following you. So,
and they're watching.
Yes.
They're watching and listening.
Such a powerful message. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, if you are looking to make some changes in your life, Brian Dawkins is here to help you. BrianDawkins.com. He is ready to help you light that fire within. So reach out to him and get that conversation going and really start take that first step and then start putting steps in front of that with reaching out to Brian. And remember, the struggle is real, but so is your greatness.
Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it. Wanna live life to the fullest, you gotta be hardworking and patient. You got the fire within you, you got a dream that you should be chasing. Pushing through to the finish line and you got no time to be wasting, yeah. Ignite your greatness, take a leap of faith and you'll make it.